heart of Europe, where the echoes of ancient civilizations still linger, lies a land calling out to the adventurous spirit. This is the backdrop for a 12-day off-road trip through Greece and Albania, where every twist of the throttle leads to new discoveries and unforeseen challenges. As we venture deeper into the wilderness, the terrain grew more treacherous, especially in the wet conditions. Challenging water crossings pushed the limit of our abilities and determination. However, our journey was not without technical difficulties. My KTM grappled with recurring issues stemming from the engine control unit, threatening to stall our progress at various points throughout the journey. As we followed the adventure country trek through the rugged terrain of Greece, we encountered obstacles that pushed us to our limits. But on the fateful 7th day, we encountered a worse setback. Jochen suffered a severe injury, forcing him to resign from the tour. It was a sobering reminder of the risk we face in pursuit of adventure. Yet, amidst the challenges, there were moments of unparalleled beauty. From the remote places far from civilization to the awe-inspiring Meteora monasteries and the breathtaking Vicus gorge, the scenery was nothing short of breathtaking. But the journey was far from over. In Albania, we faced the formidable challenge of the Trans-Euro-Trail's southern section, where the beauty of the landscape was matched only by the difficulty of the terrain. Join us as we delve deeper into the heart of adventure, filled with new discoveries and unforgettable experiences. This is our off-road adventure through the captivating landscapes of Greece and Albania. This trip marks our second expedition into the domain of adventure country treks, following the exhilarating trails of Italy's backcountry the year prior. On our last off-road adventure in the Balkans, we encountered a mix of random off-road treks in the Trans-Euro-Trail path that weren't always suitable for larger adventure motorcycles. This often led us to having to backtrack when the trails became too challenging, seeking alternative routes to navigate through. The Adventure Country Treks, meticulously crafted by the Adventure Country Trek Association, offer a significant advantage. They guarantee that all off-road paths are suitable for larger adventure bikes, reducing the necessity for detours, particularly vital given our limited time frame for the tour. Yet, as we quickly learned, adept navigation skills remain crucial for overcoming unforeseen challenges along the route. Although we set out on our journey at the end of April, a few weeks earlier than advised for this specific ACT trek, our excitement to explore the remote regions of Greece and Albania's backcountry roads was boundless. Accompanying me on this adventure are Jochen and Sebastian, starting our journey once again from Munich. For me, this meant tackling Germany's high-speed autobahn for a day just to reach our starting point in Munich. A ferry ride from Venice to Igonomica would mark the initial leg of our extensive southwest journey, leading us to the rich landscapes of Greece and Albania. Fortunately, I had planned an extra day in Munich due to prior work commitments, which proved to be a stroke of luck as I encountered my first setback before the tour even commenced. To my surprise, my brand new Heidenau K60 Ranger rear tire did not withstand the 500-kilometer journey on the Autobahn to Munich, sustaining significant damage to the tread pattern despite adhering to the manufacturer's recommended speed limit of 160 km an hour. With parts of the tread pattern torn out in 3 different spots, I realized this was not the kind of issue I wanted to encounter on an off-road tour through Greece, with most of the riding still ahead of us. Thankfully, Jochen stepped in to assist, promptly researching tire dealers who stocked this particular tire and could provide a replacement within a day's time. Fortunately, Jochen located a tire dealer a few hours from Munich with the necessary tire in stock. Incredibly, he generously made the trip in his spare time to buy the new tire, while I attended to my work commitments during the day. Arriving in Munich on a Thursday night with plans to depart Saturday morning left us with just one day to resolve the tire issue. With the new tire mounted, we were ready to set out on Saturday morning, aiming to travel from Munich to Venice in a single day to catch the ferry to Igoumenitsa the following day. Opting for a more scenic route, we embarked on a detour through parts of the Dolomites, where we were greeted by unexpectedly pleasant weather and remnants of snow from the previous season. Taking advantage of the picturesque surroundings, we paused for a quick lunch break in the Dolomites, basking in the afternoon sunlight. Energized by the beauty of the surroundings, we resumed our journey, making our way to the outskirts of Venice, where we had arranged accommodation for the night. With the day still shining brightly, we seized the opportunity to explore the area with a leisurely walk and indulge in a delightful dinner nearby. The following day greeted us with light rain as we packed up and prepared to make our way to the ferry port.
So we're gonna head to the ferry port, which we have to be there in an hour. My KTM just died. Ich fasse mal von der Straße runter.
But fate had other plans in store. Just as we approached a traffic light, my KTM abruptly shut off.
And won't start.
Echoing a familiar issue I had encountered before. During my inaugural ride with my 2022 KTM 1290 Super Adventure R in Berlin. The engine had inexplicably cut out on the Autobahn, leaving me stranded at the roadside. Despite KTM's initial inspection revealing nothing more than a burned fuse for the engine control unit, the reoccurrence of the problem left me unsettled.
Alter, nee. Nee, es ist egal. Das ist eine Sicherung, die draußen ist. Scheiße.
Fortunately, I had come prepared with spare fuses to address the issue immediately. But the underlying cause remained a mystery, casting a shadow of uncertainty over our journey. Little did I realize that this glitch would escalate throughout our trip, with the true root of the cause eluding me until weeks later. A revelation I'll share later in the video. With a new fuse in place, we regained our momentum and set off to catch a ferry to Greece on schedule. The journey to Igoumenitsa promised to be a lengthy one, spanning 27 hours, but we made the most of it with an assortment of snacks and drinks to keep us fueled along the way. After 27 hours at sea, we finally disembarked from the ferry, eagerly setting foot on Greek soil.
Geile Tour, will ich euch. Kommt gut an, faltet nicht vom Bike runter, bleibt gesund.
Our journey truly began as we made our way towards Patras, the starting point of the ACT Greece, a scenic 5-hour ride from Igoumenitsa. With the refreshing ocean breeze, we relished the first kilometers riding south along the picturesque Greek coastline, the open road calling us forward. As the evening descended, we arrived in Patras, greeted by the charm of the old town awaiting our exploration. With ample time to spare, we wandered through its winding streets, soaking in the atmosphere, before settling down for a delightful dinner at a local restaurant, savoring the flavors of Greece under the starlit sky. On the inaugural day of the ACT Greece, our journey unfolds towards Kalavrita, nestled amidst the mountains of the Peloponnese. Opting to forego the initial starting point in Naupaktos, we instead commenced our trail directly from Patras. Bypassing the pavement segments with the promise of exploring Naupaktos on the following day. Navigating through the urban labyrinth of Patras, our ascent into the mountains commenced promptly thereafter.
So, this is beginning of day number 1 of the ACT track. Starts out with this nice gravel road. It's the very beginning of May 2nd to be exact. And I haven't been on the bike in a while, certainly not in off-road conditions. The last time was in the Balkans last September. And so it takes a little while to just kind of warm up to it again. And of course it is the first time for me on this bike to do any of this, because this is the 1290 Super Adventure R from 2022 that I bought last year. And I'd ridden it before when it just came out, but this is the first time I'm touring with it and doing stuff like this. So I'll be quite curious to see how that's gonna pan out.
The rugged terrain offered glimpses of the majestic Gulf of Corinth and the sprawling cityscape of Patras to the west.
So we had to stop at least real quick to get a nice view of this here, of the bridge from up here, as long as there are no clouds yet. And it's super crazy windy. So it's photo time. Oh, it's getting slippery here. Whoa. God, that wind is crazy. It's almost blowing me off the bike. So I'm definitely getting warm, despite the chilly 8 degrees that we have here. Hands are cold. Fingers are cold. It's definitely a bunch of hairpin turns. And I am very happy about every kilogram of luggage I did not bring this time. Last time I had a big 50-liter roll on my back. And I had about 30 kilograms of luggage, including the bags. Which was already much better than just having panniers and putting luggage in, because the panniers alone, weigh a good 35 kilograms, top case and stuff. But still, it's a lot of weight. Plus, I couldn't move around because I had a big tank bag and that big roll right behind me, especially on these downhill things. It's nice to be able to move a little bit on your seat. So now I'm at 20 kilograms. Dropped the 50-liter bag, reduced the weight.
After the first meters of dirt, we're now settling into our pace and fully enjoying the beautiful mountain tracks. Just as we felt we were getting the hang of the gravel tracks, Jochen and I ended up dropping our bikes at the exact same spot.
Jochen's bike is smoking like crazy. This is definitely a bit more technical, this part here. Bigger rocks, looser ground.
As we ascended to higher elevations, sections of the track became more technical, with loose ground and larger rocks challenging our ride. Despite this, navigating the track brought us immense joy.
So there's some snow.
Reaching altitudes exceeding 1800 meters, we were greeted by remnants of the previous winter in the form of small snowfields. Snow had been a concern venturing out so early in the year, as past riders had encountered impassable snowfields along this track. However, on this occasion, snow posed no obstacle for us.
Wow, crazy, look at this.
The vistas remained spectacular until we ascended into thick cloud cover.
So way up in the clouds. And I'm still climbing. We're at 1700, I think. And we're still going up. I think the highest point of elevation today is 1800 meters above sea level. So I got a new kit of gear with me, which is the Climb airbag vest, which is made by In-At Motion, I think they're called. You know, the guys that ask you to do the subscription model and you sign up for it. That's one of the things that deterred me from it for a long time. because I didn't like the idea of subscription model airbag vest. Also, I like the idea of having a jacket over the normal riding jacket. Makes no sense. But if you do this kind of stuff here, then the heat vest is not very good. I tried that last year. Did a video on that as well. So now I'm trying to wear it under my riding jacket, under my Climb Badlands Pro. Whoa, this is slippery here. To see how it is. So it's good to wear. My biggest concern is that it can get warm. Yeah, this is like technical stuff here. Oh. So that's not a problem today, because we have 5 degrees right now up here. So it is cold. I'm wearing just a t-shirt and then the airbag vest. So this is as light as you can wear it, I guess. And I'm slightly chilly, but I'm working here, so I'm slightly on the cold side right now. Whoa. Jeez, I gotta pay attention here what I'm doing. Oh, this is the dreaded ruts. I think we're in it now. Oh. Ah. Whoa. Let's hit in a rut. Ooh, this is slippery stuff.
As we reached approximately 1800 meters in elevation, moisture saturated both the ground and the air, courtesy of the thick clouds enveloping us. Entering a stretch of exceptionally muddy and slippery track, we needed utmost concentration to navigate through.
Ugh. Damn.
Despite the excellent performance of our 50/50 tires on the gravel sections, they reached the limit in this deep mud, especially with the weight of the motorcycles. Reflecting on this segment of the track, it stands out as a truly memorable part of the journey. The thick cloud cover in the mist only added to the atmosphere, enhancing the sense of seclusion from the outside world. The wind was particularly fierce, especially at higher elevations, with powerful gusts occasionally throwing us off balance on our motorcycle.
This is where we're gonna go. This is my guess. I don't want to slide off this side here. About halfway through the track, with like 70 kilometers left on the track. We started with 140, and it is a 11:15 in the morning. We haven't actually taken a long break. We've been on the bike the entire time so far. And it's been very windy up there, so it's not really a cozy place to stop and have coffee. So we're going down to lower elevation, and we'll find a spot to make some coffee and take a break. Also, we lost all our food that we bought. We just kind of put it on Sebastian's tail end of the bike, and the net that he used wasn't strong enough. The vibration was shaking it off. So we have no food on this trip. I've got some like energy bars and stuff as a backup. We have enough water, so that's the most important part. And it doesn't rain. That's also very important, because this could have been a very different day with rain. It's the muddy section up there was doable, really, but I'm sure it's a lot worse when it's really, really, really wet.
At lower elevation, we finally stumbled upon a less windy spot where we decided to take a much-needed coffee break. A tradition that had become an integral part of our off-road adventures. Our mountain barista Jochen worked his magic, brewing up some much-needed fuel. Despite losing all the groceries we had bought early in the morning, Sebastian still had some leftovers tucked away in his luggage from the long ferry ride to Greece, just enough for a small snack. we just got to this gate, but it's not a road closure, it's just a gate. Open it, close it back up, and you're good to go. There it was, our first water crossing of the trip, and we carefully assessed the best line to navigate through. Although the water wasn't particularly deep, the large rocks posed a threat, potentially throwing the motorcycle off balance, as we would soon discover.
Yeah.
Taking the lead, I opted for the right-hand line.
Guys, first water crossing. I'm the first to go. It's a little tiny bit scary.
It was in this moment that I had to set the camera aside and rush to assist Jochen with his bike.
Yeah.
Even when the motorcycle is upright, gaining traction on slippery rocks can be challenging. In such moments, having helping hands can make all the difference in building the momentum needed to push forward.
Komm, wir schieben. 1, 2 und hopp! Gas, 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 Gas! Du bist auf dem Dings drauf. Du bist auf dem Stein. Jetzt geht's. Wow. So we're 30 kilometers before our destination in Calabria, I think is the name. And we made it to the next off-road section. This is a bit steeper stuff.
The final off-road section served as a perfect conclusion to our first day on the ACT. Despite the forecasted rain looming on the horizon, the upcoming rolling green hills provided a spectacular view and proved to be a joy to ride through.
Geil! Das war die Stelle, ne? Die sieht gar nicht so doll aus, aber wenn du die fährst.
Ja, scheiße, weil du brauchst noch mehr Speed.
Ja. Aber wenn man so hochtreckert, das geht das eigentlich ganz gut.
Die rechte Spur war deutlich besser.
Wow. We're at the final stretch of the ACT. That's the part where you go over the top of the hills here, that grass. Can you taste the beer already?
Yeah, almost. I can smell it.
After venturing deep into the heart of the Peloponnese mountains, traversing diverse mountain ranges, each offering its own breathtaking vistas, we reached our day's culmination at Calabria. The rain clouds had passed us by the time we settled into accommodation in the center of the town. So since we got here so early, we're trying the local sweets before we go to dinner tonight. So it's coffee and baklava and the other thing I cannot pronounce, but it's...
Galactoburico.
Alright, so it looks very good. Loads of sugar. We concluded the day with a dinner at the nearby restaurant. It's morning in Calabria. And the best bakery in town has our breakfast this morning. Day 2 of our expedition sees us journeying northward into the southern section of the Pindos mountain range with a destination in the small town of Anachora.
This is the ACT, day number 2 of ACT Greece. We're standing right in front of our accommodation. We had this small little house behind us for the 3 of us, with plenty of space, and we had this awesome bakery where we had our first welcome beer last night. and we had breakfast there as well. So the forecast today, you would not believe it, is actually lots of rain. It doesn't look like it right now because we have blue skies and clouds, beautiful clouds. We were lucky yesterday that we skipped most of the rain, but today we're expecting quite a bit of moisture coming down. So we'll see. I'm about to get started. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. So we just got off the sort of main road. I guess that's taking us to these sort of smaller roads. So we really have to enjoy the beauty of this morning. It's shortly after 8 o'clock. And you can see it's springtime in Greece. We're still at the very beginning of May. Oh, look at this small little mountain village here. Now I feel like you're really remote somewhere in the middle of the mountains. So we're about an hour into the ACT Day 2 track, and we're finally hitting our first off-road section. It's a bit more slippery today than it was yesterday. The rocks especially. More slip going on here. You know what? I'm glad I took the warm layer off that I put on this morning, which was good for the 1 hour on-road section. We started out with I think 10 degrees C in the morning. It was relatively chilly. And now it's 9 degrees up here. But I'm quite happy with just a t-shirt and the airbag vest. So way above the clouds. Haha, very cool.
Found this beautiful spot here just in the middle of the track to have some coffee. It's always good to bring your own coffee. We've been doing this since the last trip, and it's a super nice scenery here, and we kind of needed the break too. It was quite technical and quite muddy, so it's good to take a stop and have some coffee.
Peek at the ocean, because after this we'll be in the mountains.
With the mountains of the Peloponnese fading on the rearview mirror, we prepare to traverse the Gulf of Corinth once again. The Rio Antirio Bridge, stretching an impressive 2,380 meters, stands as a testament to engineering ingenuity, ranking among the world's longest multi-span cable-stayed bridges linking the Peloponnese Peninsula to the mainland Greece. After a brief coffee break in Nafpaktos, our journey continues along the scenic shoreline before transitioning onto our first off-road track on the mainland.
So this now is the very last view we're gonna get of the sea today. We still have sunshine, but to our right, this is where the weather's coming from. It's chasing us from the south. So we're expecting it to get pretty wet sometime while we're in the mountains, but so far so good. We really lucked out with the weather for the morning part of this trip. So let's see how long we can stay dry, but somehow I have a feeling I'm gonna get caught up with the weather. So we're back on an off-road track. Really beautiful up here. We still have some sunshine, which is nice, and you can see the bad weather is coming from the south. It's trying to catch us. crazy looking trees up here. And it's getting darker. This is a bit slipperier here. It's a bit muddy. Wow, this is crazy. Now out here in the pouring rain, 20 minutes. And it's 11 degrees, freezing. Gloves are wet, they're not rain gloves. And it's like heavy rain and thunderstorms. It's forecasted. I'm almost happy we didn't get this an hour earlier. This would have been quite the ride up in the mountains with the muddy conditions that we had there. But here it's, I'm freezing. I'm freezing. Got another 10 minutes of this, and the minutes are long. They're crazy long. Normally half an hour of motorcycle riding goes really quick, and this takes a long time. Plus you gotta be focused to make sure that you don't go too fast in these corners. Maybe sand or something, but at the same time you just want to get there as quickly as possible. We didn't really stop for another break, so we had a coffee break. We didn't really have a lunch break because we knew the weather's gonna be like this. So we just decided to push on. That's what we're doing. So another 9 minutes we get there. Ah, kalt! Aua! Alter Schwede. Oh, ich kann die Finger nicht mehr bewegen.
Achso, hast du Heizgriff gemacht?
Hä?
Hast du nicht die Heizgriff?
Nee. Das ist das Heizgriff ist aus der Warmdusche.
Ja, genau.
Oh, also noch eine Stunde hätte ich das jetzt nicht machen wollen.
This is what we deserve now. Sebastian's under the shower already, but we're here wet and thirsty.
It's an adventure trip.
We're warming up in front of the fire. Yes. As twilight falls, we find ourselves nestled in Anachora, a picturesque village cradled by towering mountains at an altitude of 1,050 meters. Here, ancient fir and chestnut trees cloak every slope and summit, the age spanning centuries. Our lodging for the night is the Village Inn, one of the few establishments welcoming guests during the spring season. After settling in, we set out to explore the quaint town. With only one restaurant open at this time of the year, we follow our host's recommendation for a cozy dinner spot amidst this serene setting.
Der Katzenflüsterer.
Day number 3 of the ACT Greece track. We're in Anachora, staying at the Village Inn. I guess that's a very popular location for other riders as well. It's probably going to be the hardest day of the ACT track for us especially. There's a couple of difficult sections in there. There's the water crossing and there's that steep sort of rocky part that we have to look forward to, but also we have a lot of rain. It's not raining at the moment, but there's a lot of forecasts. It's been raining the entire night, so there's going to be a lot of mud. And it's not a very long track, but we got a taste of the mud here in the mountains, so this is going to be a challenging day. Some water crossing footwear for Jochen, because today is going to be the craziest water crossing that we're going to have on this trip. Deep water, and he's going to wear these. Maybe. We'll see.
We get to do a final pass through the center of the town here. And this is the location where we had our dinner last night. It was the only place that was open, right here, across from the post office.
Shortly after leaving Anachora, we encountered our first logging road in the mountains. As anticipated, the rain from the previous night had transformed the sandy terrain into slippery mud.
Woo! This is where it gets a little difficult, guys. It's very, very slippery. Fuck.
So we took a quick stop here in the middle of nowhere because the mud's getting really challenging and I was getting too warm, so I had to take a layer off.
So it goes without saying that we're making slow progress on this muddy stuff. So we're going down the mountain. There's a little bit of sun peeking out at that very moment. We're still lucky that it's not raining yet. Every minute we're not riding in the rain is a good one. Oh shit, I gotta focus on this. Front wheel slipping. So every minute we're not riding in the rain. That's good, but it's wet enough. It rained a lot yesterday and last night. So that's why the track looks like this. This would be relatively straightforward in dry conditions. So we approached the water crossing, which holds quite a bit of water today, which is not surprising because it's the end of the winter season and plus it's been raining quite a bit. So, and a lot more water than, holy shit, that's intimidating. Oh weia. Ach du Scheiße. Alter, nee. Aber beim ACT, wo sind die dann rübergefahren? Hier vorne oder was? Ich meine, das kann schon passen, kann aber auch schief gehen. Und dann stehst du echt scheiße da. So, contemplating what we're doing. The water crossing is deep. Very deep. I mean, it could be possible, but if something goes wrong here, you're way the hell out. The next service road is miles and miles away. So not sure what we're gonna do. Going back up sucks too. So we'll have to see what we're gonna do. So think about it.
After attempting various methods like throwing stones and using the stick method to gauge the depth of the water, we realized we couldn't accurately assess some of the deeper spots.
So Sebastian is doing the river walk. Because his shoes are crap anyway.
Sebastian bravely sacrificed his dry boots to scout possible lines through the river crossing, but the sheer size of the rocks and the deep drops in the middle of the river posed a significant challenge, especially for heavy adventure bikes like ours.
Ja, da ist das Loch, da kannst du gleich die Unterbuchse nass machen.
Concerns about the strong current added to the apprehension. While we weren't worried about the motorcycles tipping over, we feared that the water could infiltrate the air intake, potentially causing engine damage. Facing the prospect of a stranded bike in such remote location, we couldn't risk it. To proceed, we would require all three bikes to navigate the crossing without incident.
Ist ja auch scheiße, da bist du ja voll schräg.
After careful consideration, we made the decision to turn back, unwilling to take the risk of getting stranded so far from civilization.
So we're back up in the village. That little cafe is. And decided to not do the river crossing. There's just too many factors that make it quite risky. There's a chance you can make it, but if you don't, you're really stranded in the middle of nowhere. So we're just gonna stop here and see if we can actually get a coffee.
So now we're in this beautiful little town that is only accessible by dirt road, and there's a small little cafe behind us, and that was featured in the video too, in the official ACT video. So we're gonna grab a coffee and then we have to find a detour because we're not sure if we can make it back on the track again, but yeah, we'll have a coffee and think about what we do next.
We're on our way on the detour to get past the river crossing, which is a long detour and basically means we're not gonna be able to enter the track again. Then after some pretty beaten up roads, it turned into this brand new road. It's still wet, of course, but you can see there's a lot of rocks coming down from the bad weather they've had in the recent days. And the other roads were so messed up. And this is a nice new road.
Forced to detour, we navigated our own tracks northward, veering from the original ACT track, where we found the bridge that would bring us across the river. Yet, despite this deviation, our path remains no less magnificent than the intended route, offering breathtaking scenery along the way. Ascending a high mountain road, we witnessed the river we had attempted to cross earlier converge into a vast reservoir. Selecting a scenic spot, we paused for a picnic, reveling in the breathtaking panorama. However, our journey into the off-road tracks in the mountains was not quite over and held one more surprise towards the end of this day.
We found another track, which isn't part of the official ACT, but rather than going the rest on paved roads, we want to try this. It's gonna get us to where we need to go, technically, but we don't know what it's like, so we'll just try it out, I guess. So Jochen's got this track on his iPhone app that he's using to navigate. It's pretty good to show us tracks like that, but also crashes all the time. So it's kind of a love-hate relationship with that app, I think. I could barely see that track on my Zumo XT. I mean, it's on there. I'm sure you can route to it too, but we're gonna try the app now, see how far it's gonna get us.
Here it was, another water crossing awaited us. This one appeared wider, yet upon careful inspection it seemed less deep than the earlier one we had bypassed. Determined not to underestimate this challenge, we collectively walked the intended path, strategically unloading our luggage to lighten the bikes, preparing for any potential need to lift them out of the water.
Und?
Jochen courageously volunteered to go first.
Easy.
This water crossing marked a small triumph for the day, and notably it was the largest one I had ever encountered.
So, we made it through the water crossing. We don't know what's coming here. So, if this doesn't work, we'll have to go back, do it again. But it's quite a relief. That was the biggest water crossing, the scariest I've ever done. So the boots are wet. I mean, this water came in from the top. Isn't as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, the water's in there, but it doesn't feel as cold as I thought it would be.
The subsequent trek was a joy to ride, and we found ourselves much more confident navigating the wet terrain. The sunshine that greeted us after the water crossing quickly gave way to the rain during our final kilometers of the day.
Geil! Geile Strecke!
Sebastian! Oh Gott!
Wo müssen wir jetzt eigentlich lang?
Jetzt haben wir noch 14 Kilometer. Du bist aufwärts gefahren.
We're at 1300 meters high up in the clouds again. Just got off the off-road track that we just found by ourselves with the river crossing. So despite the fact that we had to detour from the original track, we definitely had some really cool tracks. This could have been part of the ACT track for all that matters. The forest muddy part. Towards the end, it was getting a bit more familiar and a little easier and a lot more enjoyable too.
While I don't mind a bit of grime on the bike, a brief washdown was necessary to clean the luggage and attend to the chain for maintenance.
We arrived at our final destination. I just forgot the town's name, but our hotel is a couple meters to the right, giving us in. Perfect.
Tschüss. Trotzdem sind wir Original-Track. Eigentlich noch ein Tick besser. Day 3 of the ACT, and we really lucked out with the weather again, because this is what it looks like now, and we had most of the day in the dry.